Hi kindergarten friends and parents. I am Miss Hamilton. I'm one of the kindergarten teachers here at Cunningham Creek. We made a few videos for you to help our distance learners understand a little bit better about what is going on at school and at home this year, because you are going to be starting school at home. So this video is going to address how some things in a brick and mortar classroom will be the same as in a distance learning classroom, and then also some things that are going to be a little bit different in a distance learning classroom. So we do want to keep the same schedule. We will begin class. Some classes will begin their first morning meeting somewhere between 8:45 and 9 o'clock. So your specific teacher will let you know what time you need to be logged in. You definitely have to be logged in by 9 o'clock because that is when attendance is due, and we will be taking attendance of our distance learners at that time. Some other things that will be the same is that we will have the same lessons. You will actually log in to Schoology and you will see the live lesson. We will also have some small group lessons, and we will also have conferencing, which are the same things that the kids that are at the brick and mortar school are going to be getting. Your specific teacher will let you know how many times a week you're going to need to sign in and at what time for small group lessons and for individual conferences. Okay? Something that is the same for distance learners as for brick and mortar kids is that you need to have a dedicated place to learn. In our classrooms, we typically have a large meeting area. It's much larger this year because we are spaced out more. And then you also have a dedicated place where you will work like at a table to do any worksheets or art projects, or even possibly work on the computer for like iReady. A very important thing that we ask in brick and mortar and in distance learning, which can kind of be a little bit challenging at home because I know moms and dads like for their kids to understand everything and get the right answers all the time, but it's okay for your kids to be wrong. It's okay for your kids to make mistakes. But we do want to see your kids' own thinking. So if your child is doing a phonics sheet and they're not sure what the beginning sound is in a specific word, then what you can do as a parent and what we do at school as teachers is we guide them through the process. We guide them to think until they find the right answer on their own. We never ever just tell them the answer. So that is something, showing your own work at home is just as important as showing your own work at school. Some things that are different at school, at Cunningham and at home, is that at school there are up to 18 other kids in the classroom with just me or with your teacher. At home, you typically have one, possibly two. With that being said, you're probably going to finish worksheets and art projects a little bit faster because you don't have distractors. You don't have you don't have other things to be looking at. You might not stop and take a break and check out what somebody else is doing. Also, when we are doing work at school, you have one teacher that goes around and checks and makes sure that everybody is on task, is doing their work the right way. We might have to stop a few times to help somebody with their thinking. So if you just can imagine the time that it takes for you to do that with one child times sometimes 18, so it might take a little bit longer for us to finish an activity than it would for you to finish that same activity at home. Because of that, the schedules may fluctuate a little bit, just to multiple kiddos needing help. Sometimes transitions definitely take longer. If you tell one child to go sit in the meeting area, you might have a carpet that they want to sit on the floor, or they want to sit at the table. They can just get up and move, and that takes like that. 18 kids takes a lot longer. So if you can just keep that in mind, that we're not sitting around doing nothing, you're probably just going to get things done a little bit faster because you're 1-on-1, we're 1-on-18. We are sending some supplies home with you that you should have probably already picked up. Please don't use those items unless we ask you to. Okay, so that is something else that is different when you're at home and you have this big pile of supplies. Then you might be excited to like write in the journal or start coloring on the worksheets. We're asking you not to do that until we specifically ask you to get that journal or specifically ask you to get a worksheet. Please do not try and work ahead. Please wait for us, and we will let you know what you need and when you need it. At school, all of those things are kept in a specific place, and we'll all get up and go get what we need, or we'll have to pass it out. And again, that's going to take longer. Not all school activities can be replicated at home. You will find in your extra supplies, you have a page that says you need all of the same supplies that we use at school, but you are going to need some additional items. Okay, so if we're doing an art project at school and we're using bingo daubers to do the art project, and you don't have bingo daubers at home, maybe you could use markers. Or you might have to, if you don't have art supplies or, basically art supplies that we're using at school, then you are free to try and alter that to make it happen. The art project part of it is fun, it's kinesthetic, but the goal is to learn whatever we're doing. So if we're learning about the letter H and we're making an art project at school, and you don't have the pieces and parts, you don't have construction paper to make the pieces and parts, then there's a color sheet that you could use instead. The last thing that we would like to ask you is to please be patient with us, because we are all new at this, and in school, everything is bam, bam, bam. We have a schedule. We know this comes after this. Timing might not always be perfect, but we're asking you guys at home to be patient with us because this is all new, and we're probably at some point going to run into some technology problems, but we will do everything in our power to work through it and help you guys at home. But please remember that the school schedule, the brick and mortar kids, are on the same schedule as the distance learning kids. So everything is happening in real time, and we'll just have to see how it goes because it is all new to us as well. So I hope that you guys have a great end of the year. See you later.